my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So today is Block Wednesday. So we're working down on that bottom row, and of course my design board is out of commission while the critter quilt is going on. So I have some critter quilt stuff today and the sampler box for June, because somehow I never showed that. What? And then I'm going to tell you at the very end what our next Block Wednesday is, and the project page is up and active. Okay, but first, it is drive-through day, celebrating the drive-through. So you might be getting coffee in the drive-through, you probably are getting food through a drive-through. Maybe you're going through CVS or the drugstore and picking up your order that way. So to celebrate drive-through day, if you have a quilt with drive-through items, probably food items, right? That'd probably be or food or coffee, tea, that kind of a thing. So share it over at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, or you can just tell me about it here at YouTube if you are not on Facebook. Okay, so our first thing is the Block Wednesday is from the Simply Jelly Rolls book, and we are on, this is the download that you want. It is we're doing it more weeks than the original one that the Fat Quarter Shop did. So we are on week 7. So I didn't write that on there, but week 7, it is the baguette, and the baguette is the cover quilt. So this is it right here on the cover. I love it. I love that sort of interlocking visual. So I'm using my Paradise Park, a Jelly Roll of Paradise Park, and here are my blocks. Now the diagram for the quilt has one going one direction and one going the other direction, so that they would be, and they're not next to each other, so they're spaced out on it. And I don't know if I'll do it like that or not, so we'll see. These are the blocks from last week, which these go right next to them. So this is the outer block, and then this block, and then next week's block is in the middle, then this block again, and then that block. And so, whoops. So there it is. There it is. So they actually make a different visual up or down, right? Because this one, the red here, is on the kind of the outside, right? And then there's less blue. So, and then on this one, it's just the opposite. There's more, let's say, do it the other way, right? See, like this. So they are the colorations. I could actually, if I wanted them to be like this, but you can see they're not colored the same way. So I color them, so they're probably going to set like this, like the pattern. But just to show you, there's options in how you want to do yours. So if you're a super symmetrical person, then set them accordingly, because hey, you don't want to set it wrong, do you? No. There is no wrong. There's just design choices. Design choices. Let's do the sampler box first. And, you've all on order for this, have yours, and have been enjoying it, I'm sure. I think the Fat Quarter Shop did a reveal last week or something. So maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. So this is sampler box. And let's see what we get. I did not peek. Okay. The Sweetest Peach. This is the June 2024 box, and there was a coupon on the box for a certain eyelet, the eyelet yardage and pre-cut. So that's a fabric line, and then they did an alternate link you with a QR code to the alternate block if you have alternate quilt pattern for what's in here. There's also the little booklet that tells you everything that's in here. Machine needles, of course. We were just talking about machine needles. We did that as our scavenger hunt. I showed you all of mine, and look at that. So we've got, that's awesome. That is awesome. Schmetz are the best. And what else? Before we look at the fabric, what else? We've got, a little diamond ruler. I assume that it probably is used in the pattern. And let's see. Okay. So we've got some pins, some straight pins from Little House. There we go. Branded to the Fat Quarter Shop, and they're pink and blue. So I'll have to try those out. I know you guys are always looking for good pins. Okay, so what do we have? we have the jelly and jam from, and this is what they're called honey buns. You see how skinny it is? This is like a 1.5 inch strip, a pre-cut that Moda Fabrics puts out for some of their fabric lines, these skinny ones. And the pattern that comes with it is this. So fun. Look how beautiful that is. I have not played around with these in a long time. Long time ago I had one and I did some stuff with it, but it's been a really long time since I've used the skinny strips. So that's what this is for, to get you going. This here, oh, is there something else I missed? No, that's the needles. The needles and the pins. Okay, great. So you can, sometime, I didn't look, but this box might be available, or there might be prior boxes, usually prior boxes that are available. So you can pick up one of those. All right, so let's see. I've got state fabric stuff too, because states have come in, and I want to talk about that a bit. Let's do that first before the critter quilt. Okay, so let me get a couple things. First is the mail that is not from, not about the state quilts. And this is from Deborah in Mississippi. She sent me this note, and I have to tell you, beautiful card, super cute. But I have to tell you that she wrote something that I think will speak to every quilter's heart. Her father passed away, and she had a whole bunch of t-shirts, and she wanted to make quilts. And so her cousin knows how to quilt and says, I will teach you and her husband, Deborah and her husband, how to quilt. She said, I'll teach you how to quilt so you can do this. And they and her oldest son told her, why don't you go on YouTube and see what kind of quilters you can find on there so you can learn a little bit more. And she found me as one of the things, although I tell you, I have never done a t-shirt quilt, so you're ahead of me. And that's how she found me. So it's like, you know, I think teaching somebody to quilt is the most powerful thing that we can do. The biggest gift that we can give somebody is to teach them how to quilt. My mother-in-law used to do that. People would say, will you make me a quilt? She goes, I'll teach you how. So there you go. And she's also sometimes on our morning chat as Mama D. So I'm going to look for you. So she said that she found some things and she just thought of me. One is this adorable mushroom scrubby. Look at that. You know, it's got the little scrubby on the back. Look how cute that is. That's so stinking cute. She also saw this version of Alice in Wonderland, which is my favorite book of all time, with the pink flamingo cover. Isn't that gorgeous? So I am actually going to read this book again. I am. And the pink flamingos, look how sweet they are. Look how sweet. So I remember seeing them as a kid. I wrote to my mom and she says, oh, it's probably when we went to the zoo, which makes sense. We lived in New Jersey, so the flamingos would most likely be at the zoo. And so that's just, this is so cute. So cute. I appreciate it so much. Okay, we have a few state things. And I'm only doing a few at a time, unless somehow I get way too many at once and I have to do special video just for state stuff. But I have the state project page up there. The fabrics, I will load them up onto there even before, I'm going to start doing them before I even have them on the video. So if you want to check to see if it came yet, you'll be able to look on there after today, because if too much comes in at once, it just takes too long. So, you know, I don't want to do a whole episode of just the state fabrics, but I do want to show everybody's and thank you properly, because it's just amazing. It is so much fun to see all this. Okay, so this one is from Donna in Illinois. Look at that. Look at the cow. How cute is that? And so she found some very fun Illinois fabric. You know, some of this has got just the best scale. Look at that. Look how cool that is. And remember, when you go to the state list, you can see if I've already gotten the state or gotten the fabric that you might be looking at for that state, because there's going to be more than one fabric out there for each state. As we've already been seeing. Okay, so this one is from Mary in Michigan. And she sent me also a sweet note on a quilty card. Look at the eagle at the top. Awesome. And so here's her Michigan fabric. It is a panel. She's got two little panels. So there's one. So like I said, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with this yet. And, you know, So I'm just collecting it all up to see. I have some ideas, but until I get everything, I don't know. She also lives in Florida part of the year, so she sent a Florida panel. That's so pretty. That's so pretty. So who knows? Things like these panels may end up as part of the backing. I may have a piece backing, which would be cool to have all this stuff on it. I just, you know, I don't know. I don't know yet what I will do. Okay, and the last one for today is from Diane in Virginia. Oh no, I've got two more. Diane in Virginia, and she sent a long, sweet card. And here she sent me from North Carolina. So she's got North Carolina fabric. So isn't that pretty? Yeah, love it. I'm holding it upside down for you. There, it actually is directional. There we go. There we go. And then I have to keep track of this, you know. Then the last one for today is from Paula in Ohio. And she also wrote me, everybody's writing such nice notes. I read all of them, and they're just so heartwarming. And she sent a group of different Ohio fabrics. There's some that's got like the Amish buggies on it, and the state. We've got the Ohio license plate fabric. That's right. So look, I love the colors, yeah. And then here's one where that outline of the state. So we saw that for one Arizona, I think it was. Yeah, so there's an Ohio version. Okay, so that is all the state stuff, and those fabrics will all be loaded with the first name of who sent it over at my state project page. Let's take a look at the first part. Now, right now, all of my work for the critters is on the computer because I can't do anything until I have the layout. So first, let's go look at what my first part is I'm going to show you today. Well, I went ahead and moved a few things around. There was like a little cat under here, and that cat has gone down here. I've moved the double cat and the bird from down here up here because they're a little bit bigger block than these ones. The hummingbird was over here on the right. The owl was down at the bottom. The gnome was over here. The buffalo was at the bottom. Let me just flip to the other page. See, here's the buffalo, the owl, the hummingbird, the double cat, and the rainbow bird, the gnome. So I have to shift them around. Now, if I go ahead, let me just save. And I do want to have a little bit of spacers here and there because it makes it more interesting, something just a little bit more than just a teeny weeny strip. And so these are all about the same width. You can see there's still some space down here, but it's not as bad. What is it, like 4.5 to, you know, like under here. And it's a little bit wider here, so I could actually put some of those fused animals down here, I think, because that is, oh yeah, that's like 7 inches. We'll see if that, like that penguin fits in there. I still have the fused animals up here, the pig and the fish. Okay, so like if I then move this up a little bit, then this like smack up against the horse and the dog there to get as much of the height gone as possible. This bear is still down, so we actually have to go a little bit lower because of the bear, and like the gnome would probably, you know, move to give it a little bit more interest. We don't need everything tight up against there. Okay, so let's see what this looks like now. So it's basically the same width, and it's almost the same length, just a tiny bit. Let me make a, whoops, not a copy of that. Let me make a copy of the frame so that I don't have to figure it out again. Okay, so if I want to move that frame now down, it would be about 75. Okay, so that's not bad. Then there's always going to be like about an inch border all around it. So that's not bad. So I've got this to work with now where I need to fill in spacers, you know, like, whoops, get rid of that. Like this, you know, in here, there's a spacer, you know, maybe like the penguin can go there. The flamingo could go down here. Then I have some loose blocks, you know, I could fill in, maybe find some blocks from my parts center to just add in here. I have a ton that would work. Okay, so there is this iteration, and I'll be
getting more of it done, getting all this little parts put in here. That's up next.
So I am using this that I hand drew from what's on the wall up here. So you know they're still all in that same format. Okay, so you can see that picture over at the Critter Quilt page of just what's up there. I'm not shifting everything around, although I have shifted it in the computer because it is not going to stay like that. Some of the animals will move around. The next thing is, let me just show you this next part.
Let me just show you a few other things that I'm considering, and I'm going to just be talking about kind of this top section up here. So let me just come in just a little bit. So right now, the tiger is actually a gray background, and there's a border. The tiger is kind of in this part. And so these three can nicely just go right up against that, snug against it, because the tiger pattern isn't like touching them. Plus, they all kind of float as well. So that works to have no spacer in there. I put frames all around the little pixel birds. And then what I'm seeing here is this long line. So I do not want this across the quilt because that is not attractive. It's not attractive at all. So what I'll be doing is something like this, moving this down, and this down, and like this will be at the top edge. That way I will put in like a spacer here and then over here somehow. Or this might actually be more like this. There might be something here that's, let me just turn that. So you might have something that comes up like this, and then another one like that, you know, so that they're different fabrics. So it really breaks up that line. So even though this will be sewn together, right, like this will be a sewn grouping, you're not going to see a hard line across here. The things will be up and down, and they will be right up against the top. Let me undo that. So that's just a few of the things I'm considering. This guy, whatever it is, I have to figure out the size and what will, you know, the final size, and then what will fit on it. Like this guy is going to have some teeny weeny little piece down there based on, what do I got here? That is, yeah, height is like almost 20 from here to here. So we'll see if that one gets the spacer or not, because I might just bring that up and instead bring the paws down and put. So this is all sort of building your puzzle of the layout. So if I did this and brought these up, so that I don't have them extending as much, because I want to keep it as short as possible so that it is easier to hang for the organization that it will eventually go to, which we don't know yet. So there, I can put like something like that at the top, so that still breaks up the line, and it'll work, and I still can get like the whole length that I need. There, so that makes it just a little bit, every little, even like a ½ inch helps with this total length, so that I don't get it too big, but I do have things that are a little bit interesting, adding a little bit of fabric here and there, so that it's not just blocks side by side, which can't happen because they cannot be constructed like that. Okay, so that's another little thing going on.
So once that is done, I probably will just go ahead and build out the rest of that layout. Then what I will do is I will print those blocks with those sashings. So it'll be kind of like this, but now the digital final version, and I'll print a copy. Then what I have to do is go back in and I will find all of the sashing sizes. I have this sheet with the size, the blocks are all trimmed already to this size. So right now I'm not changing any of the sizes, they'll stay what they are. That might change by the end, but right now, so I just really need the sashing sizes, so I'll print that layout, and that's what I'll do next, do afterwards, is have all those sashing sizes and figure it all out. So that's the process I use for all of them that I do like this, with multiple size blocks when I'm building something out. And it works really well. And once I get to that, then I can just start playing with the fabric and everything else. But until I have the layout, I don't do anything. I just need a formula. I need my pattern. That's basically what I'm doing. Okay, so we will wrap up. We will wrap up with I'm going to tell you what the next topic is, and I have the supply list, the project page, and the layout all for you today for our next Block Wednesday quilt along. The topic is our national parks. And so this is the layout and supply list. So it is 9 blocks. We will start September 11th and finish November 13th. And it will be so relaxing and fun. You'll be able to use fabrics that you have. And I just had to get out my passport book, my National Park passport book. Yes, get in the mood. So I'm going to do on another day deep dive more into fabrics and everything else and thoughts about that. But first, let me just show you briefly on here what it is that you're downloading. So you've got the layout diagram and the size 52 by 66. I am going to be using my Gratitude and Grace fabric, but I am going to add to it. I will be adding other fabrics that I already own to it, and that's where I'll have a little bit of discussion about how you might think about this, because maybe you have some national park fabrics you want to weave into this. Maybe you have some state fabrics from national parks that you've been at. Maybe you have some woodsy. I mean, most national parks, even if they're monuments or other things, have a lot of nature outdoor aspects. Or maybe you have some city fabric for some of the ones that are in the cities. So there you go. So that's what you can think about as your fabric. You have a few weeks. You have quite a few weeks. And then here is the layout. So remember, I'm giving you the layout now, the directions now. Had a little audio issue, so I'm writing over here. So you can just see all the pages. I've got all the layout directions. So this whole packet is what you're going to want to print right now so that you have the layout for the entire project time. Download this. So it says supply list and layout directions right there. It's all here in this packet today. Okay, this Block Wednesday, you have 2 blocks to make and decisions on how you want to color them. So that is, whoops, let me just flip this around so you can see that's how they're laid out, the 2 of them. Okay, it's all right, my friend. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.